The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN. Then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Tuesday, this is a toughie, 17th. Am I close?
It's Tuesday the 16th. We're previewing the 17th games.
Well, here to preview Wednesday the 17th. Full state of MLB action. You've already heard his dulcet tones. It's Mr. Noah Bieniek. He pronounced correctly. Noah, how you doing?
How we doing, Malcolm? Yeah, we got the under the weather duo between the two of us here. You probably had it a little bit worse than I did. You mind telling the listeners what happened? Because I still don't quite know.
I'm lucky to be alive, Noah. Let's put it that way. At the risk of being dramatic, lucky to be. Well, I told everyone on Friday night that I was incredibly grumpy and tired, and I just wasn't having it. And then
Thursday night too. With
I did. I was telling everyone who'd listen. And then I went to the match on Saturday against my better judgment for several reasons. A, because I was grumpy and tired, and B, because I knew I was going to fucking jinx them. Captain Insano, the last thing he did on here was question the jinx, didn't he, on Friday night? Do you remember that?
It was the jinx. So you don't believe in revenge games, but you believe in jinxes.
Correct, yes. And what happened? 2-2 draw. No use to us whatsoever. Had a terrible day, drove home somehow in a daze. And anyway, I've been out of action since.
So you count the draw as a loss? So, is that what you're keeping track of your record? You just you don't win when you go.
Yeah, but in the context of where the league is at the minute, we need it to win. It's all very, very tight anyway. But we didn't win, and I didn't have any fun. And we should have won because Leeds are shit. And you're right.
We didn't win.
We didn't win. Everyone told me not to go. TV DBG is pointing that out. There's loads of people in the chat saying hello. Josh is in there. Dylan, Riley, Christopher Moore, new name. Good evening, Christopher. New name to me anyway. Nice to have you on board. Yes, TV DBG. 1 point.
He's new, but I don't know if he's brand new.
Well, I've said he was new before.
Yeah, I know.
Per me. No, I haven't. I would have remembered that. If I did, I'll put it down to the delirium of the life and death situation I've been in recently.
Oh, I've already got it down there.
Yeah, that must be it. What we haven't chatted about, if 30 seconds trash talk, I'm playing you in the Fantasy League this week, Noah. Now, I tore you a new bumhole last season.
Okay.
Yeah, so how are we feeling about this week?
It's only been Monday so far, and we're tied. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, you're not getting hammered yet. So the next time we do a show, maybe Friday night, then we'll see. We'll see what's happening over there. So I caught up with just about all the box scores, some highlights, all my fantasy leagues, and then I've dug my head into stuff today. So I know what's been going on.
More than really I did to catch up to speed because I didn't watch much ball over the weekend either. The only baseball I've been watching is my former school, Point Park, play in the national tournament. So that is it.
How are they getting on?
Well, right now they're playing the host team of the regional, and they're losing 11-9 in the bottom of the 7th. They were up 7-1 early on in the game. They hit a 3-run home run. They've actually hit 5 home runs in this game. Just we gave up a 7-run 6th inning. So 11-9 bottom 7 right now. We are hitting. But we won the first game yesterday 20-3. We won the second game 8-1, and now we're in a nail biter. So,
one other bit of parochial news: about 10 minutes ago, the final whistle went. Our local Newcastle's local rivals Sunderland were in the Championship playoffs, and if they'd won that, they had a chance to get promoted to the Premier League. And they got beat off Luton Town. So that's another year stuck in the shit for Sunderland. So absolutely over the moon with that. That's why there's a little bit more joie de vivre in my general outlook this evening, because Sunderland got turned over, which was given out on the Premier League Gambling Podcast. Barry did a solo show yesterday in my absence, and very well he did too. It was weird seeing his great big head on my telly screen all by itself, like a watermelon. But no, he did all right, Baz. He's been getting rave reviews. I might get sacked. That's why I've hurried my way back. So, yeah, full slate on Wednesday. There's loads of baseball as well, I think, tomorrow, isn't there? Which is fun. Yeah. Nothing kicked off so far tonight, so no winners or losers there to speak of. But yeah, lots of
Tigers, Twins, Dodgers, Reds, Rockies, D-backs, Athletics. There's like 7 games of baseball tomorrow.
I do like the rubbish series as well. There's just something about when I know the Pirates have been half decent. Pirates, Tigers, and Reds, Rockies. That sort of stuff. That's me. I love that as a gambler. I just think, like, come on, because there's an angle there. You just got to find it. Like, it's got to be good enough.
Yesterday. I locked it up yesterday.
Which one?
So hopefully the Tigers come out on top. I took them as my money line favorite.
Right. Okay. So we'll get stuck into this then. I'll tell you first. We've got a new sponsor.
Ooh,
yeah, this is exciting. If you're in the chat, you people, get your pencils out on that. Pens up, write this down. SGPN is excited to announce an exclusive early access partnership with Edge Boost, the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. I cannot believe you allow this in your country. You're insane. Similar to buy now, pay later programs like Affirm and Afterpay, Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest and pay back the advance over 4 equal weekly installments. That's right, no percent interest. Simply deposit funds into your account and Edge Boost will match the deposit so you can use 2 times the funds on any legal sports betting site. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in advances as you build a repayment history. The Edge Boost double down play of the day, we haven't got to that yet. We'll have to pick some winners later on, but with a special offer, the first 500 SGPN users will start at a $1,000 advance limit, and the next 2,500 will start at $500. So go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up today. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Why is that so hard to say? I think that's what Barry had trouble with yesterday as well. Must be 21 years or older to use. Only valid in legal gambling states. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So it's all a little bit of fun, isn't it? Wednesday's games. And what's happening in the chat? Anyone? Oh, you thought you were on mute.
Yeah,
I'm not on mute.
Did you hear that? Me?
No.
Oh, good.
What did you say? Did you do a boo-boo?
Belched during your ad. I thought I was on mute. Hopefully I was on mute, but when I looked, I didn't see it was mute. Hopefully it was muted.
I never picked up any of that.
I don't know. Just all hell just broke loose because we just drilled the pitcher and now there's a pitching change. So he left with the injury. So
good times. Okay. 1:10 Eastern first pitch. The Pittsburgh Pirates at the Detroit Tigers. We have 2 left-handed pitchers going. It's Dick Mountain Day, Rich Hill for the Pirates, and E-Rod goes for the Tigers, who are -150. Not many times this season the Tigers will be -150. The Pirates are +125. And the total set at 7.5. Rich Hill, 3-3 on the season, 4.35 ERA. He's been all right. His last 5 starts, a 2.73 ERA, decent. 3.12 ERA on the road. I will caveat that by saying he's played the Rockies twice, Cincinnati and Washington. Well, you know, you can only pitch what's in front of you. And Detroit aren't a million miles away from those levels of opposition.
I actually
E-Rod.
have a stat that will tell you that they're a million miles away.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it then.
4th in the MLB over the last month in OPS against left-handed pitching. 846, Malcolm. That's crazy. I called
Say
them
that
out
again.
maybe 846 OPS against left-handed pitching over the last month for the Tigers. I called them out for being terrible 3 weeks ago, and they've been hitting well.
Yeah, they have been hitting well. They've been fun. They've been profitable as well.
Fun. I like it.
The two words I've written next to E-Rod is holy shit. 35 and 2/3 pitched. His last 35 and 2/3. 1 earned run. 15 hits, 4 walks, 38 punches. They've won 4 of those 5 starts with a 0.42 home ERA. However, so I'm right, not the whoever doesn't pertain to Detroit. I think Detroit will win. If you want a unit and a half on Detroit, I think that's fine. Both teams are hitting lefties okay.
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh are not without hope here. I think you have to take Detroit, but I think that 7.5 is a bit skinny as well. I think we could easily get to 8 runs here. E-Rod's got to give up a couple. 1 out the pen. Detroit score 5. Detroit win 5-3. Bosh, cash everything. There we go. What do you think?
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
I like that. No, I'm on the Tigers here again. I think they'll probably win both games. I took them yesterday. I like them again here today with E-Rod on the bump. And the offense, like I mentioned, they've been hitting it pretty well against lefties. And Pittsburgh doing all right against lefties over the last month too with a 8-19. So definitely kind of side with Malcolm's over there as well. But just a little bit harder for me to see that E-Rod giving up 3 or more because he just hasn't done that recently in his last 5 starts.
Yes, completely agree with everything because I was sitting there the whole time, as you well saw.
I will say Christopher Moore in the YouTube chat bringing this up. The Tigers, they've been great against non-AL East teams. Against AL East teams, they're 2-16 this year. Everything else, they've been well over 500.
Is there a possible pun in there saying the Tigers have been great, like Tony the Tiger? Is that a bit much?
Yeah, that's not been used ever before. You totally came up with that one on your own.
Dad joke 101. Right, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we'd stay in the at the bottom of the barrel for the next one then. 3:10 Eastern first pitch. The Cincinnati Reds at the Colorado Rockies. Graham Ashcraft for Colorado. For the Cincinnati, and Austin Gomber, left-handed pitcher for the Rockies. Plus 100 on the Reds, minus 120 on the Rockies. Total set at 11.5, Noah.
So Graham Ashcraft hasn't been as sharp lately as he was on earlier in the season, but away from the Great American Shoebox, Ashcraft has been much better with a 3.18 ERA compared to a 4.79 at the Great American Ballpark. The same cannot be said for Austin Gomber, who has a 8.38 ERA and 4 home starts at Coors Field. The Reds, as a team over the last month, has a 666 OPS against left-handed pitching. That's 26th in the MLB. So I don't know if they're going to do too much damage against Gomber, even though Gomber has not done well at home. So in result, I think this total is just a tad high. I saw it at 11 earlier. I like the under.
Noah, we're getting so synced up. This is getting ridiculous. My note says the total's too
11.5 now at FanDuel.
Yeah, total's too high is what I've written down. Yeah. We like Ashcraft. We know this, not a secret. Had that blow up start, and then he got hit by the comeback, but that was kind of after he'd given up all the runs. Wasn't really an excuse. But Gomber's given up 6 earned in his last 4 starts, and these two offenses aren't great either. Christopher points out that the Rockies are 10-4 in May, which is pretty good. I'm guessing they've had a bit of a home stand in there. So yeah, I think the total's too high as well. So I'll take the under 11.5. Next on the card, 3:10 Eastern first pitch. The Minnesota Twins and the LA Dodgers. Sonny Gray for the Twins and Dustin May for the Dodgers. The lines are plus 125 on Minnesota, minus 150 on the Dodgers. Total is set at 8.5. Sonny Gray, we talked about him, I think, on Friday night, being one of my new favourites since I heard him speak. He seems like an easy man to root for. He's 4-0 on the season, a 1.39 ERA. His last 5 starts, 2-0 with a 1.91 ERA. On Friday night, Noah, what was one of the things that we talked about? And I remember someone like shouting in the chat as well. It was one of these regulars who's in here tonight. Minnesota don't score runs. Do you remember this?
Yeah, but they put up 11 and 2 games or whatever against the Cubs.
They put up 11, 16, and 8 in the last 3 nights since we said that. Well done, everyone.
I think it was on the Hayden Wesneski. He just gives.
It was, that was it.
Just played right into the Twins' hand. They just hit home runs.
I put Wesneski up as my dog, and then I had a look at the third inning. It was 42-0 or something. Okay, so that's the end of that. Serial's asking how I'm doing. Doing a little bit better, big man. Thank you very much. The key to this game, I'll tell you about Dustin May first. There is a key to this game, though, and I've got it.
Okay.
Dustin May, 4-1, 2.68 ERA. He's held the Padres. The last twice he's been on the bump. In terms of the offenses, they moved. Joey Gallo moved to the top of the lineup and hit home runs. Both games that he's been there. Mookie Betts has hit 7 home runs in his last 19 games. The key to this game is these two teams have the highest percentage of runs scored via the homer in MLB. So if you can keep the Ducks off the pond, then the solo shots aren't going to kill you. And Sonny Gray and Dustin May have really no whip to speak of. They're really quite low when it comes to walks and hits per innings pitched. So if the Gallows and the Mookie Betts of this field are going to hit dingers, they're more likely to be solos or 2-run shots. I don't think there's going to be many runs on that. So that's the key. Low whips, solo shots won't hurt, and under 8.5. So that'll be my pick.
Yeah, FanDuel just posted numbers, and they have this one at 9. So we like the under 9 here. Both of us
100%.
in lockstep. Sonny Gray and Dustin May have been great so far this year. So I have no other differences in your handicap there, and I like the extra added stats and by the home runs that we keep mentioning. So yeah, nice to see that we've been all over both these teams being pretty home run dependent since the preseason. Yeah.
Max Muncy had his 4th multi-home run game last night as well of the season, which is a decent effort. Right. 3:37 Eastern first pitch. I'm a bit out of practice here. I can see the Mets game disappearing off the top of the screen, and I just know I'm going to miss it because it's much later on. I'm not going to write it down, though. I refuse to bow to the pressure. 3:37 Eastern first pitch. The Arizona Diamondbacks at the Oakland Athletics. Ryan Nelson for Arizona and Luis Medina for Oakland. Minus 160 for the Snakes, plus 140 on the Athletics. Total 9.5. Ryan Nelson is 1-2 with a 6.20 ERA. I'm losing a little bit of faith in him. Noah, you're our rookie guy, and you talked him up. We picked him up in our TGFBI league, but nothing's working for him really. He's given up too many long balls, and it's kind of been against poor opposition as well. So I'm going to have to sit Ryan Nelson out for a little while. Medina started 2 games. His number's high, that 8.18 ERA. But he's only started 2 games, and one of them wasn't terrible. He gave up 3 earned again on 6 innings against Texas. He could keep Oakland competitive. So, I mean, the 2 options when you handicap Oakland, you're either taking the opposition on the run line or some sort of total. So, I think the safer bet here is the over 9.5, with Nelson possibly giving up a few than AZ on the run line. So I'll take the full game over, please, Noah.
I like the Arizona Diamondbacks run line. You painted it.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes,
you either go with
that's the other option,
line or the over or the under here. For me, I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks run line because they have been the best team against right-handed pitching with an 837 OPS in the MLB. That's first, and Oakland 24th with a 654, and they have one of the worst bullpens in the majors with a 670 ERA over the last 2 weeks. So give me the Snakes -1.5 here.
I think I might have just hocked a massive loogie before I pressed mute on my microphone then. So I apologise to everyone. Did you not catch it? No. So we missed your burp in my in my mucus. It is like emergency ward 9 on the show tonight, folks. So just bear with us.
Yeah.
You're lucky. You're lucky we're here. It's like Vietnam, innit? In here. 3:45 Eastern first pitch. The Philadelphia Phillies and the San Francisco Giants. Taiwan Walker for the Phillies and TBD officially for San Francisco. I think it's Sean Manaea. Yes?
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I got no lines. Do you have any lines?
I didn't have any when I handicapped it. Let me refresh this. No lines.
Okay, well, tell us about it anyway.
Yeah, Sean Manaea didn't make it out of the third inning in his last start against the Nationals. The Nats scored 8 runs in 2.2 innings of Manaea's work. On the road this year, Taiwan Walker has not been great either, with a 6.23 ERA and 5 road starts. So I'd be taking an over in this matchup, either in the first 5 or a full game, because the Mets bullpen over the last 2 weeks has a 4.35 ERA. That's 19th in the MLB. The Giants ranked 25th with during that time span with a 5.06. So, yeah, overs in this one.
I haven't written an awful lot down. Philly performed some wild defensive stuff last night. It made me laugh a little bit. Walker's been better in his last 2, and he's generally been good at San Francisco. I've been out on Manaea all season and have been proved correct for once, but nothing much to add to this one. Right, shall we tell someone about some advertising? Let's have a look. Just wait for this bad boy to load up. I reckon we might be going date, and I haven't checked this for a little while. We've done that crazy ad. Yeah, we've done that one. Oh, no, we're back to Shady Rays. We're back to Sunglasses Shady Rays. Teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off, but you also have a chance to win $500. Shady Rays got you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Durable frames, clear optics, the lost and broken replacement offer is fantastic as well. Even on day 1, no questions asked. Shady Rays will replace them, so you can wear them with confidence, or you can return them within 30 days too. For our international listeners, Shady Rays has got you covered. Shipping to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 Shady May contest. Okay, where are we going next? Let's have a look. Oh, my computer's... There we go. 4:10 Eastern, Kansas City Royals, San Diego Padres. This is the game that Christopher was talking about at the top of the show. Officially TBD on Kansas City. Daniel Lynch? Noah, what do you think? For KC?
Lynch. I can pull that up in a second. Give me one.
We got Yu Darvish going for the San Diego Padres. I got no lines, obviously, because I got no pitcher.
I have. Is this Jonathan? I have Jonathan Heasley.
Okay,
from Fangraphs. So no clue.
See, Lynch is on the IL. Oh, Lynch is getting called off the IL for his first start, and they're often
the Royals have called up Heasley from the AAA. So
well, maybe Lynch hasn't quite made it then. Right, so we'll not dwell on this an awful amount. Christopher, remind us what you said earlier on in the chat. I think he was fading Darvish, wasn't he? KC team total.
We can go back up.
Yeah, I mean, Darvish has been great, and this is a good series for San Diego, really, to get some momentum. They beat KC 4-0 on Monday night, and that really looks about the norm for the rest of the series. Manny Machado took one off the back of the hand last night, but luckily was okay and came back into the game. But yeah, Can't really expand on this one. Noah, much you?
No, I don't really have much to add. Not knowing the Royals pitcher, and a kid just stole home on us. So now it's 12-9 opposition.
Oh no.
Yeah.
6:35 Eastern first pitch, the LA Angels and the Baltimore Orioles. Griffin Canning going for the Angels and Kyle Bradish for the O's. Plus 115 on LA, minus 135 on Baltimore. Total set at 9.5, Noah.
In his first 3 starts this season, Griffin Canning faced the Nationals, the Athletics, and the Aaron Judge-less New York Yankees. During that time span, he looked pretty good. Since, he's made 2 starts against the Cards and the Astros, and he's given up 5 runs in both games. Both of them good offenses. Astros have been a little lackluster this year, but you can mostly say that they are a good offense. Kyle Bradish has been pretty unpredictable this year, which doesn't give me much confidence in a pick. I lean Orioles because their bullpen has been really good this year. But yeah, just no conviction behind that because Bradish, he's actually had a couple of starts with 0 runs. He's had a couple with 3, and then he's had a couple of blow-up starts. So it's really, you either get a good Bradish, an all right Bradish, or bad Bradish. And should I say badish? It's just been unpredictable. And I like the Orioles bullpen, and they seem to have a nice vibe at the home park with this new bird bath, but I don't know if I'm able to put any money on them.
Yeah, this was quite a tricky one. The Shohei Ohtani nearly hit for the cycle for the second time. I think it was a double short last night, still just doing unbelievable things for the Angels.
This year, he's almost hit for the cycle twice while he was pitching. It's crazy.
It's frightening, isn't it? So Griffin Canning, we talked about him a lot when he came up, didn't we? I think we talked about bidding on him in that league. He's kind of testing my faith in him a little bit. However, I did say, I think it might have been Friday night, that I'm expecting Baltimore to regress quite hard. Just behind the numbers, the starting pitching numbers are just really, I don't know if fraudulent's the right word, but they're on real shaky ground. So I sort of pinned them down for going 15 and 25 over the next 40 games. So I'm kind of feeding this Baltimore pitching staff domino effect onto the bullpen. Can't, in good faith, take Griffin Canning and the Angels in this spot, or the bullpen. I've been burned too many times. I think the over in that case was the safest bet for me, with Canning and Bradish, and everybody for that matter, contributing 2 good lineups. I think the over 9.5 is a good total. We can get over that one. 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the Washington Nationals and the Miami Marlins. Left-handed pitcher Mackenzie Gore goes for the Nats, and Edward Cabrera takes the ball for Miami. Washington are plus 110. Miami are minus 130 with a total of 7.5. Noah.
This is an exciting matchup of youth between Edward Cabrera, who has all the movement in the world on his pitches, but he struggles with control, especially on his fastball. He's in the 2nd percentile in walk percentage this year for pitchers with an 18%. So that's really, really bad, walking 18% of the batters he's faced. Other than that, I mean, he's got good strikeout stuff. And Mackenzie Gore is just, imagine a little bit better of a Edward Cabrera, stats wise, but less movement on some of these pitches, more reliant on the fastball. But he also struggles with walks, not as great strikeout numbers. I lean towards the Marlins in this game because they have the better bullpen, and the offense over the last month has the 13th best OPS against left-handed pitching, 748, which is much better than Washington's 678 against righties. So give me the fish at home.
Okay, so we've got a difference of opinion finally on this one. I like Mackenzie Gore. I wrote him up earlier in the season as a pitcher that we could make money on, and he's got wins against New York Mets. He's got a win against the Atlanta Braves and at Colorado. So he's been profitable, Mackenzie Gore. We started seeing Cabrera. A key thing I started seeing with Cabrera this week was he was getting dropped in a lot of fantasy leagues. And the
I
fantasy
had
players are
him in
quite.
a dynasty league, and I dropped him after week 2.
Oh well, there you go. So he's been dropped in quite a lot of leagues, and that's normally a sign that people are just starting to go a little bit cold on it. The Nats are going along quite well. They've nearly caught the Mets up. They're not very far behind the Mets at this point. Bear in mind where both clubs were supposed to be. So yeah, I think I'll take Washington here behind my man Gore at a price of +110. Next is, is it time to go at the top yet? 707, 710. Nope. Nearly. Next one after this. New York Yankees, the Toronto Blue Jays. Garrett Cole for New York and Chris Bassett for Toronto. The odds are -120 for the Yankees. Even money, +100 on the Blue Jays. Total is 8.5. Garrett Cole was rocked a little bit by the Blue Jays 2 starts ago. He's 5-0 on the year, 2.22 ERA, but he did bounce back against the same opposition last week. He's always good for a couple of runs. Has been all season. Held the Blue Jays scoreless on the 22nd of April in 5 2/3 pitched. He's got a career 4-0, 3.24 ERA on the road in Toronto. So yeah, no problem with that. I quite like what Harrison Bader and Willie Calhoun have added to these New York Yankees lately. Obviously, Bader came back from injury. Willie Calhoun's been pressed into service due to a couple of other injuries. But I've said before, the Yankees need these kind of bits and bobs players. Aaron Judge came back. You can have your say on the Aaron Judge doing the old sly eyes into the dugout last night in a minute, Noah, if you like.
First base coach, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. So Chris Bassett, 5-2 with a 3.40 ERA. 4-0 in his last 5 starts, 1.60 ERA. He had a complete game shutout against the Braves last time out. Dalton Varsho might be a guy to watch for props here. He's hitting 298 in May with 4 home runs. Now, I've just dressed this up as a bit of a pitching duel. However, I like how both sides are hitting. New York have scored fewer than 6 runs only once in the last 9 games. The Blue Jays are averaging 4.75 at home. And I just think this is going to be juiced to the under as well. You can get even money about the over 8.5. And I think you will see runs. Judge was back last night hitting. Just talked about Varsho. There's people up and down the lineup on both sides. So as much as I like both pitches, I just think there's going to be a steady stream of people coming across home plate tomorrow, Noah. So give us your pick, and then you can tell us give us your opinion on the Judge thing if you want.
Yeah, we're on the other side of this one again. I like the under. I like the way that you painted it up, pitcher's duel, and then you just go with
flipped it.
You flip it there. I'm seeing 8.5 at DraftKings right now, and I'll take that under because you mentioned it with Garrett Cole. He's seen success at the Rogers Center pitching there, but also Chris Bassett, much better at home this year than he has been on the road. 4 starts on each. Sorry. He has a 2.73 ERA at home, 4.37 ERA on the road. You want to back Bassett when he's at home. And plus, both of these bullpens really good as of late. The Yankees, they're 9th in the MLB with a 3.49 ERA over the last 2 weeks. Toronto 12th with a 3.67. I think the number is pretty much spot on. I'm not going to bet it personally, but I would go with the under here in this game for my pick. And as for the Aaron Judge thing, so I'm thinking it's more along the lines of he's looking at the first base coach, thinking that they picked up a sign. Now, what I noticed was like through social media videos, Alejandro Kirk was throwing down numbers for pitches instead of using the pitch comm. And if you're going to do that, that's your fault if it gets picked up by the first base coach. It's on the road at the Rogers Center, so there's no suspicious cameras or anything that you would suspect from the Yankees, being that's in foreign territory. And I just think that sometimes the catchers, they'll have their legs a little too wide, and maybe a first base coach is able to pick it up. There was nobody on base when it was in question. So if you're looking over to the first base coach and he's just got his left arm just on his left knee leaning down, you know that it's going to be an outside pitch. Or if he's got his right arm on the right knee, like to your left side, you know that it's going to be an inside pitch. And if you're a right-handed batter, all you have to do is like look over to the first base coach. That's all he did. That's legal. If that's on the catcher, if he's easily relaying signs to a first base coach, you're supposed to have your legs in a pretty close position. That way only really your pitcher is able to see it, or the guy at second base. And same thing happens with the guy at second base. If they're able to pick up a sign, if somebody just an amateur example, but when you're growing up in baseball, you only use one or maybe three signs total, and it'll be, hey, first 3 innings, the first sign is the pitch. The second 3 innings, the second sign is the pitch. The last 3 innings, the third sign's the pitch. Well, the fastball is universally a 1. And if you throw down a 1, now the guy on second base knows, and then he's doing the same thing that I basically just used as an example of what the first base coach may have been doing. So that's my thought on that. I mean, it's Aaron Judge. He had a great year last year. It seems kind of weird that this is just getting brought up now. I saw something on a Josh Donaldson home run from the postseason. It was the same thing, but really, like, this is the first time we've ever seen this come up about on social media or anything, because normally people are like hawks watching these pitchers with sticky stuff or trying to, everybody's trying to be their own umpire, catching cheating, and we just haven't caught or seen much of this about Judge lately. So I think that now they'll be watching a little bit closely, but really I don't buy the bullshit that he was saying the teammates were acting up in the dugout. I mean, my school that I'm watching right now, they're singing in Spanish currently. So it's just a bunch of BS that you're doing in the dugout 24/7, and that's nothing. That shouldn't bother a hitter when he's at the plate. So I'm not buying that story. I think it's somewhat along the lines of they picked up Kirk's signs, and that was the story they went with.
Okay. I have made my way to the top of the page. 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay Rays, New York Mets. In fact, a bit of an anticlimax this, because we've got TBD pitcher for the Rays, Kodai Senga for the Mets. Noah, you have anything for Tampa Bay at all?
I can pull that up. Give me a second, just like I did with the Orioles. My computer's being slow too. So I got a Taj Bradley getting called.
Oh, yeah. I did actually see that.
So Bradley is under consideration along with Cooper Criswell for the start for the Rays on the 17th. So
yeah.
Either Bradley or Cooper Criswell.
Bradley's the name I saw. So, yeah, nothing confirmed for Tampa Bay. Kodai Senga, he had a tough first inning last time out, didn't he, against Cincinnati? He gave up 5 earned runs? Anyway, he carried on. And managed to go 5 innings. He's been okay, but that 5 innings tends to be his limit. 4-2 on the year, 4.14 ERA. The Mets are a mess. They're only hitting .234 with runners in scoring position. Nothing on Tampa really, other than they seem to have everybody worked out. That was a fun series they just played against the Yankees. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, not too much more on this one without a pitcher. Noah, you?
Yeah, I locked up the Mets, and Senga gave up those 5 runs against the Reds, against the AAA starter for Cincinnati. So really bad taste in my mouth there. And if Taj comes up, I think that's just a nice little discount on what we think is a really good pitcher coming up from the minor leagues, and that a lot of people may have forgotten about, or they questioned, was he actually that good? He just got sent down again. Well, really, it was they wanted to the Rays wanted to limit some of his curveball usage, and they pretty much worked it out of his repertoire down in the minors currently. So what they were doing is, if you look at his game log, I think he gave up 5 runs in his first 2 AAA starts, but really they were just tinkering with his repertoire, and they were like, just no curveball, because apparently the curveball was getting hit pretty good in the MLB. So when the Rays see something, usually they're correct about it. And those sort of things in the minors, a lot of times you just get sent down to work on something. That's what they were doing. So I'm kind of just pushing aside some of the stats for Taj and the minors, and I'd take the Rays here on the road at Citi Field.
7:10 Eastern first pitch. Mariners and the Boston Red Sox. Marco Gonzalez, left-handed pitcher for Seattle, and Brian Bello for Boston, -105 on the Mariners, -115 on Boston. Total set at 10. Noah, my guy's back.
Yeah, your guy is back, and he's been pitching really well too. I think this total is set really high. Basically, we've seen all these Red Sox totals be set pretty high. I said it yesterday that I ended up taking the over, I believe, on that game, but I think that it's automatically just been coming out at 9, 9.5, 10 because it's gotten really public. But on the season, Marco Gonzalez is 3-0 with a 4.12 ERA on the road. And Brian Bello, he's looked amazing in his last 2 starts against the Blue Jays and the Braves, 2 of the better offenses in the league. He only had 2 earned runs in both starts. He had 5 punchies with 1 free pass in both appearances as well. So I think the Mariners, they're below league average in OPS against right-handed pitching. And I like the under here, though. Seattle, they have a 676 OPS against righties. So give me the under here in this matchup.
I took Boston here, but -115. They're on a bit of a 4-game skid, but they've been okay at home. Marco Gonzalez is steady, but Bello does have those 2 wins in a row to his name. Cal Raleigh did a fun thing last night. Hit a homer from the left side and the right side of the plate. Became the first catcher to do that at Fenway Park. Does the name Sedan Raffaella mean anything to you, Noah?
No, I don't know. Where is that from?
He stole 6 bases last night for Boston's Double-A team.
Really?
6 bags in 1 game. That's a good effort.
That's nuts.
It is nuts, yeah. Yeah, he shattered all kinds of records last night. So that was fun.
That means you have to get on base, 3 times, at least 3 times, and you're stealing second and third in all 3 times that you're on base, or you're getting on base 4 times, and you're stealing third at least once in every scenario here, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it went down, but it went down, and it made me laugh when I was looking at Boston this afternoon. So I'll take Boston on the money line in that one. 7:45 Eastern first pitch is the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Corbin Burns for the Brewers and Adam Wainwright for St. Louis, -125 on the Brew Crew, +105 on the Cards, total at 8.5. Noah?
Milwaukee's active roster is hitting 272 against Adam Wainwright. The success has been led by Rowdy Tellez. He has a bomb and a 278 average against Waino. Jesse Winker, 333 with 2 home runs. Tyrone Taylor, 6 for 14, 429 batting average. And Christian Yelich, 295 off of Waino. So if you're going to give me the Brew Crew at a cheap price when their offense has seen good success against Wainwright, with their ace Corbin Burns on the mound, who has a 141 ERA in his last 8 starts against St. Louis Cardinals, give me Milwaukee on the money line.
Totally agree. That is my bet too, Milwaukee on the money line. Firstly, it's my old guy Fade. I'm riding that at the moment, and Waino fits very much into that. I think the St. Louis revival is coming, just not in this game here. Luke Voigt headed to the IL with a neck injury for the Brewers. And St. Louis, they very much go as Nolan Arenado goes. Again, Friday night, Noah, I checked my notes Friday night. We talked about Nolan Arenado hitting 230 something. In fact, it might have been Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah. St. Louis versus Boston. First thing I've written is Arenado's struggling. He's hitting 233. That was on Thursday. He said 4 consecutive home runs since I mentioned that. The jinx is real, Captain, if you ever get to listen to this. I'm single-handedly turning careers around here. 4 consecutive home runs. And that will drive St. Louis. Sorry?
Who'd you do it to last year as a pitcher? He was extremely bad throughout most of the season. Then in August and September, completely turns the ship around. And he was dealing.
Jaime Barria, possibly?
It might have been.
Someone like they played in red. It was a Philly, or it was I got to think it was an Angel. Someone the dog shit end of the Angels. But yeah, they did. They won about 5 in a row, didn't they? It was incredible.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the 8:05 Eastern first pitch between the Atlanta Braves and the Texas Rangers. I was trying to remember if I'd given a pick out for that last game, but we had Spencer Strider for the Braves and Nathan Eovaldi goes for Texas. Minus 150 Atlanta, plus 130 Texas, total 7.5. Spencer Strider, 4-1 on the year, 2.51 ERA, 2.05 in his last 5 starts. He's still improving. Strikeouts through the roof, 13, 8, 10, and 12 in his last 4 starts.
I think he's got an over 15 strikeouts per 9 innings. It's nuts. The second time I've used
really is
on this pod.
And on top of that, you can throw in Atlanta's 16-6 road record as well, which is pretty stellar. However, Nathan Eovaldi, 5-2 on the year, 2.70 ERA. His last 3 starts, get these: 9 innings pitched, 8 innings pitched, 8 2/3, 0-0-0, a row of duck eggs next to his name in the earned run column. Absolutely incredible. 282 career against the Braves. And the Braves won 12-0 last night. But before that, we're on a 4-game skid where they'd only scored 9 runs. So I don't know if that 12-0 win gets them out of a slump, especially against Eovaldi. Texas are decent. Texas are good at home. Home puppy here, plus 130. I think it's far too big. I'll take Texas and Eovaldi, please.
Yeah, you're going bold with a money line aside. I'm not going bold at all. Give me the under. I think it's hard to see either team scoring more than 4 runs in this game. Give me the under 7.5. Both these pitchers are in great form right now.
You're supposed to keep talking, but I'm clearly blowing my nose.
I'm also distracted too. We've got 2 outs, 1 runner on, and our 3-hitter up. So he's conference player of the year. I don't know as many kids on this team as I used to. The only guys that I know were like freshmen or sophomores when I was still there. But huge moment right now. There's a pitcher's mound meeting now. But yeah, sorry about that.
You're right. You crack on. TVDBJ loves the Rangers pick. All aboard. The penultimate game on the show this evening.
Pen.
Get your pens out. Is the 8:10 Eastern first pitch between the Chicago Cubs and the Houston Astros, where Drew Smiley, left-handed pitcher for the Chicago Cubs, and JP France Zutalo goes for the Houston Astros. Plus 140 on the Cubs, minus 160 on the Astros. Total is set at 9. Noah.
Yeah, give me the under here. Both starters have looked pretty good so far, whereas the offenses, they've slowing down lately for the Cubs and just underwhelming on the Astros side. The Cubs have a 726 OPS against righties over the last 30 days. The Astros, a 673 against lefties. Drew Smiley has been pretty good with a 4-1 record, a 3.05 ERA, 38 strikeouts and only 10 walks in 44.1 innings pitched so far this year. And JP France out of Mississippi State has been great through 2 starts on the road against the Mariners and the White Sox. He's only given up 1 total run in both of those starts, and it was from a solo homer. So I like the under 9.
Completely agree again, mate. This is preposterous. Like Smiley's gone okay. And I've got written down here, Noah likes France. So yeah, under 9 was the fairly straightforward answer. One more game to get to. Cleveland Guardians at the Chicago White Sox. Peyton Battenfield for Cleveland and Mike Clevenger for the Chicago White Sox. It's a match at the books, minus 110 each of 2. Total is set at 9. Noah, bookies can't split them, can you?
Oh my God, we just flew out at the warning track to lose. The Guards and White Sox. I'll just say this. I don't like either offenses so far. They've been a little rough to start the season, but I have to go with the first 5 here. I'm not a big fan of either of the 2 starting pitchers in the way they've started the season. Peyton Battenfield giving up an average exit velocity of 94 miles an hour. That's bottom 1% of the MLB's pitchers, aka he's been really bad and getting hit really hard. So his expected ERA is much higher than his actual. Then Mike Clevenger, he has a 6.14 ERA in his last 4 starts. So yeah, give me the over 5 here, whatever it's going to be in this game for me.
I came into this handicap almost, when you're expecting something, and I was expecting to go the same way. And then, because like Battenfield, we talked about him going okay early on and looked like he was on the slide, but actually, his last 2 starts, he's kind of been hanging in there. It's almost, I think he's kind of plateaued a little bit. Plateaued, French word. There you go. I tell you what, people think this shit's just thrown together nowhere. Honestly, hours and hours of production meetings that go into this. It's incredible. Yeah, he's been hanging in there. I think he's got a chance tomorrow. I have written down Clevenger and the White Sox can bite me, is my studied analysis after that as well. I'm just not, I can't be having them at all. Yeah, Cleveland on the money line here. Bit of an ugly one at -110. I don't pick Cleveland very often because they never score enough runs to make you confident. They've got, unless they're at home against a dog shit team. But I think Battenfield could go okay. So that's going to be my pick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've done it. We've got through the show. We have got lock and dogs to give out. Noah, would you like to lead off or would you like me to go?
I'm looking for a dog, so do you mind leading off?
I will lead off. My lock is going to be, and I know I feel like I pulled the old switcheroo on this because I portrayed the pitching duel that would be Garrett Cole against Chris Bassett. But I absolutely love the over. I love the over here. And like I said, New York are just scoring runs. So they can score minimum 6 runs. So that gets you a hell of a long way there. That gets you 66% of the way there. So the Blue Jays everyone gets a couple off Cole. So there's 8. We only need one more run somewhere. Lock it up over 8.5 in the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And we've only not long finished discussing my dog of the day. I think Texas are a great price here. They've been excellent at home. Eovaldi has been more than excellent. Strider's great, absolutely. But Atlanta aren't hitting. Yeah, they scored 12 last night. You put a line through last night. And 9 runs in 4 games. Texas at home have been great. They've scored 14 runs on 4 occasions, I think, so far this season. 14 runs or more. Big old numbers for the Rangers. And at home, plus 130 is a big old price.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that one. I think it's a nice way to get a plus money price on a coin flip game with 2 good pitchers going. For my lock, I'm going to take you to the Milwaukee Brewers. They're getting their ass kicked right now, but they're going up against Adam Wainwright tomorrow, who they've seen great success against. Their active roster has a 272 average. Corbin Burns against the Cardinals in his last 8 starts, a 141 ERA. Give me Milwaukee at a cheap price on the money line. I can't believe they're that cheap with their ace on the mound. And for the dog, the one that I had trouble picking out, I'm going to go to the Arizona Diamondbacks -1.5. It's plus 110 currently. They're the number 1 team hitting against right-handed pitching. And it's Oakland. They have one of the worst bullpens in the majors. So I think they get started early and they continue offensively with success throughout the whole game. I think that there's going to be plenty of runs scored. So give me the Arizona Diamondbacks money -1.5.
Is there a game going on as we speak?
I think it's the Brewers and Cardinals. Lane and TVDBJ have been talking about the Brewers just getting dog walked. Or is he saying that he's
I think they are going to. You threw me a little bit there. I thought I'd handicap the entire wrong day. No, I think that started a little. Why did you panic me then?
Oh.
Buffoon.
Yeah, I went off of TBDJ saying they're getting dog walked. I didn't know that he was assuming that they would tonight.
Don't trust these idiots in the comments. That's the worst thing.
There are idiots, though.
They are our idiots, and we're their idiots. We're all just one big happy bunch of idiots. Thanks, all the listeners. We do appreciate it. Get in and give us thumbs up and 5 stars and all that stuff. Big fans of anything like that. Noah, do you have to go and commiserate your team's loss, or can you move on with more sport?
It's a double elimination pool play thing, so they would probably have to win 3 more games to move on. So yet again, this is the 3rd year in a row that might fall short here, which is tough. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll get better from this. Yeah, 3 more. They would have to beat the team. They would have to beat the team out of the losers bracket, which is actually the 1 seed that we've already beaten. We beat them 8-1 last night. They're the 4th ranked team in the country in NAIA, so that one's going to be a tough one. And if we win that, we would have to beat the team that just beat us 11-9 twice on Thursday. So yeah. For me, though, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at MLB SGPN. Like the video, leave a comment, or review and subscribe, or review, subscribe wherever you're listening to it on podcast platforms. And if you're kind enough to leave a review, we'll read it off on the stream if you'd like. So Lane Elliott going, will we be getting college baseball pods this week? Locks were fire last week. Yes, we're actually putting out, I believe, a college softball episode this week too. National tournament in college softball coming your way this weekend. So I think we're going to have Adam Pelletier on that one. So
I've been watching a bit of softball. The ones with the green pants are quite good. I can't remember their names.
Oregon, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the Ducks. Get them on. Well, there you go.
Hey,
I think I've
Dryden's not going to like you mentioning that.
No, doesn't like me. He got really angry with me several times in Vegas because I kept calling the Beavers the Ducks or something like whatever. I got something the wrong way around, and he was losing his temper with me. I think I've got one more night all alone in the big bed because I've been poorly. Before the IT department moves back in tomorrow. So I'm going to go and listen to baseball and get myself star-shaped for 9 hours before I have to get back in my corner tomorrow. So appreciate it. Have a good night, day, whatever time of day it is, everyone. Good luck with your bets, more importantly. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.